Hey Lakeview, we're back. It is how to paint paint lips in oil pastel. Woo! And I've got my new mount here. My video shut off earlier, so I am going to complete where I was. So I have brought in some of that. I have done dark across, and then I'm going to bring in some that green, and I'm going to follow with my contour lines, and that green is going to make those little things that we see in my lips, the wrinkles. So now I'm going to come back with some of that red, that vermilion red, that beautiful vermilion red. I talked about it. It may not be on that last video. Vermilion red comes from the north, Minnesota. The beautiful red rusty color that you see in the waters and in the rocks of North Shore, Minnesota, just making it so beautiful. And I'm going to add a little bit of that color in right along there, and that's how we're going to finish that up. This might be a two-part video just because of the technical difficulties I had earlier, but here we are finishing this up. And when I scumble it this time, I'm just going to pull the color following my contours. And by following those contour lines, I create a brush stroke or a stroke in the color that makes the viewer feel that that is the shape that they should follow. And because of that, that helps the viewer believe that this is a round object. And there is my bottom lip. Now to do my top lip, I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to come in first with my vermilion red. Oops, I forgot to draw in my highlight. So those areas are going to get white. These are the circles or the muscles. I'm going to lightly color in everything that's not part of those circles. And that one's going to get a circle around it. That one too. This one too. And it's just going to help to define that shape that happens there. So I'm going to fill that all in. Extend that down and over. Upper lip. Oh, yeah. Now, remember, we talked about that the upper lip is in shadow almost all the time. It angles down. So if I looked at it from the back, my nose would come here. My upper lip, the top part with the snot splitter is right here, but the actual lip surface is here, and it points towards the ground. The bottom lip goes here and the chin. So if I was, the sunlight is usually up here shining this way, so this is always in shadow. So is this part. So that's why this is dark. That's why this part's dark, and that's why this is going to be dark. So I'm going to take my green, and I'm going to put that over my vermilion red, and I'm going to cover all of my vermilion red with this. I'm going to do those circles a little differently. So again, we want to create brush strokes or oil pastel strokes that resemble the direction we want it to go. So at first, this isn't going to look necessarily like it should right away. It will work its way into it. Sometimes you just have to trust the process with painting. And I'm going to add in a little vermilion over that green. I may add it a couple more times. This is a way of scumbling in a color too, instead of using a paper towel or and I can add in lots and lots of layers. So I want that to be a nice dark layer right there. So I'm bringing that green over again, and it's really coming out nice. I'm liking how this looks. Now, just as a reminder, remember, sometimes I'm going to take my picture and I'm going to turn it and I'm going to hang it. I hung this up earlier, and then I'm going to look at it from a distance and say, ooh, what do I like about it? What's good about it? What's bad about it? Sometimes when we work on something all the time from the same height, and that same height and same view is the only view we get, and so our perspective gets skewed. So we need to take a step back, and we need to look at our artwork or life from an angle that's different than what we normally take. So this is a way of doing that. So notice I left those white. I'm going around, I'm scumbling all that nice dark in, and I got a nice dark upper lip. Woo-wee! That's beautiful. Now I'm going to bring my white in. I'm going to add my white right along there. I'm going to add some white at the top of these circles. And then I'm going to add my white over here. And that'll be the highlight on the upper lip. Now, I'm going to fill in the circle. Imagine the circle looks like this. I'm going to go water splashes back and forth like this. Then I'm going to go over it with the green. And I'm going to do the same thing, but not the whole way. Then I'll come back with my red, and then I'll scumble that in. And that will help to make these look more round. So here we go. There goes the water. Splash, 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 splash. Now this one does it too. Splash, splash, splash. This one does it too. Splash, splash, splash. Now I'm going to take the green. Splash, splash, splash. This one goes splash, splash, splash. And then I'm going to add a little bit there. Splash, splash, splash. And then just make sure that's covered right there. I'm going to come back with my red now, and I'm going to lightly put in a little bit more red. So those are all covered. I'm going to run a bead of red right along the edge here and right along the edge here. Not completely filling that in. Now, this time I'm going to take my piece of paper and I'm going to put my paper over my tip and I'm going to scumble it this way. Oh, one of my favorite songs in the whole world just came on. Jimmy Barnes and In Excess singing a song called Good Times. It's from the movie soundtrack Lost Boys. Oh, love this song. This song used to get me fired up for football games and wrestling matches. Makes me feel good. It's kind of like Katrina and the Waves walk on sunshine. Now, I'm going to come back. I'm going to clean that up just a little bit, and I'm going to blend and scumble some of that red right into that highlight. It doesn't have to be really white. It just has to be a lighter version. Oh, yeah, look at that. I think we have, oops, I got to get this just right so you guys can see it. Oh, I'm struggling with my new camera. Woo, there it is. I've got lips. Now I might want to bring in a little bit of white. Just add a few spots of white to highlight that. I'm going to add just a little green right on the end here and on the end here. Come over that with some red. Some of that vermilion red again. And I have a really nice set of lips. Oh, yeah. All right. Good job, Lakers. We'll finish this up next Thursday.